Please welcome Kristy Caccaviello.
I'm going to try not to have a panic attack up here. Everyone remind me to breathe. Okay. So I'm Kristy from Geelong Insurance Brokers. I'm originally from Swan Hill, as you just heard, which is northern Victoria, where my parents own a really large wine grape growing acreage. So keen drinker. And I'm the eldest of 3 girls. So I started in insurance when I was 15, just working reception. I grew really keen to learn about all the calls that I was taking, and I started a school-based apprenticeship there, where I then moved into a full-time role as claims consultant for a few years when I finished school. And then I moved to Geelong in 2014, and I was lucky enough to land a job at Geelong Insurance Brokers, where I am a broker or an account manager. So I handle policies from start to finish and deal with one person the whole time. Geelong Insurance Brokers is locally owned and run by John Shields. He started as a one-man show in 1993, and he's since grown to 13 staff. At Geelong Insurance Brokers, we're a member of the broker cluster group Steadfast, and a part of Steadfast is that they pulled apart every policy in the market and then pulled the best parts back together. So they've made the policies superior in the market. So I just want to go quickly through, before I go into benefits of dealing with us, about different ways you can obtain insurance. So the first would be direct. So you handle all your own inquiries, any claims, and you'll most likely be dealing with a call centre. The second is an authorised representative. So they generally represent one insurer or multiple, and we like to refer to them as just salespeople. The next level is dealing with someone like us. So we represent you. We don't work on behalf of anyone, and we handle all claims and inquiries or any disputes, etc. Throughout the life of your policies. And we have access to literally thousands of insurance companies. So just a little bit about Steadfast is that we're, as a cluster group, we're Australia's largest broker network, and as a combined group, we combined over $6 billion worth of business, big difference. And there's 340 brokerages in Australia. So some features and benefits not only for our clients that are not just in the policy wording and the features and benefits. We have for the contractual liability service review. So we have access to lawyers that are able to review for free for our clients just the insurance clause of a contract. So we can make sure that your insurance policy is in line with the contract and will respond, and that the actual contract doesn't invalidate your insurance, which we see on multiple occasions. Another one is work health options. So they're our workers' compensation division. They manage workers' compensation claims and queries, and they're able to help the employer through the process, and then also get the employee back on track. And all this is free of charge. And the most important one to me would be the claims triage service. So whenever you have a dispute with an insurance company, you generally have to work from the bottom to get to the top. Well, with our triage service, we go straight to the top and work our way, and the decision works its way down. So it's a more effective way to resolve disputes, and also a much quicker way. So let's play a little game. I just want to know if everyone could just raise their hand if they are with someone like Amy with their insurance. Okay, bad news for you guys. What I have in front of me is the Financial Ombudsman Service, otherwise known as FOSS, statistics for 15-16. So this is where the top level of where you can take a dispute. Amy policies at nearly 18% of their claims reach FOSS level. What about Budget Direct? Who's with Budget? Budget have nearly the worst. 33.6% of their claims reach FOSS. And a really concerning statistic to me is that 14% of those claims were resolved in the applicant's favour. So they shouldn't have even reached FOSS level at the start. The worst one on the list is Progressive. Is anyone with them? They're nearly 40% of their claims. It's terrible. So our type of policies, for example, Zurich, they only have 9% of claims. I personally haven't been anywhere, being within many claims that have reached FOSS level. We've been able to resolve them. So something else that Steadfast allows access to is policy comparisons. So something to remember, and I want you guys to take away, is that there's more to insurance than just the price. And any saving that you make by moving your insurance might not pay a claim, and that saving is going to be quickly forgotten when they don't pay. So I just want to compare a couple of different policies for you. One I'd like to talk about is additional cost of temporary accommodation. So for example, if you're in Wye River and you lost your home in the fire and you don't respond to cover to relocate you whilst your home's being rebuilt, and unfortunately in the event of catastrophe, trades are limited. So with our policies, we automatically include a limit of 20%. Something else is exploratory costs. So if there's a leak or anything like that, depending on where it is in the house and my experience in claims, it's generally the most expensive part of the claim is to explore. Budget Direct only offer a limit of $1,000. It's not going to get you far. With valuables cover, so for jewellery, camera items, etc., policies have a limit of $1,000 any one item. Our policies have a limit of $10,000 any one item per set of collection. So what that means for you is you don't need to notify us or specifically list valuable items unless they're over $10,000. Did it die? I knew it was going to happen. Oh, here we go. Okay. Landlords. So this happens from poor management, basically. We have loss of rent cover, which unfortunately I've recently dealt with a claim where rent default reached $18,000. I don't know how that tenant was allowed to stay there. It's really important to think about because if you don't have a really good property manager, I know one, they can actually invalidate your insurance because if they don't take the right precautions to mitigate any loss, well, your insurance company's not going to pay because they've managed it poorly. Motor, Mark Petalwood, you're going to love this one. Finance gap cover. So in the event of a total loss and there's finance on a vehicle, your market value that might be paid out may be less than what the actual finance is that you owe. We include a 50% gap. So we'll be able to pay on top of your market value that amount. And we've also got cover for use of incorrect fuel, which you'll be surprised actually happens. Then we've got policy comparison on the business pack. Our policies are full accidental damage cover, and just quickly is the removal of debris I'd like to touch on. So no one takes into account removal of debris generally when working out the sum insured on buildings. Our policies automatically include an additional $100,000 to your sum insured, so we can reduce your sum insured by $100,000 automatically, saving you, because that policy is already included, that feature is already included. So my referrals are bread and butter would be domestic clients, so home contents, motor, and small businesses. Our cream referrals would be bigger size businesses, so say over 10 employees, and complementary businesses, so people that can continue to refer to us and we can continue to refer to them. So your fin planners, accountants, bookkeepers, etc. My dream referrals would be training organisations or organisations with thousands of employees, and I've listed out their clubs and associations, which I'd just like to touch on briefly. So I dealt with a local footy team last year that were definitely underinsured, and their attitude towards that was nothing terrible is ever going to happen, blah blah blah. We would be able to fundraise any difference, like they were relying on the community. It's the wrong attitude to have. And whether it's fortunate or unfortunate, back at home, one of the football teams, their club burnt down whilst I was dealing with them. So I sent them the before and after picture of this. They're currently insured with us now, the football club that we were dealing with here in Geelong, and they've taken out all our recommendations because unfortunately shit happens. So that's what the cover is there for. So just have one question in closing. Who here is an expert in their field? Hands up. Jimmy, you should probably put your hand down. I've tried your nachos before. Leave it to the chefs. My point is that we wouldn't all be here if we're not experts in our field. We wouldn't be here if we're not passionate about what we do in our clients. So I'm going to leave just a list of policies up here quickly of just some of the policies we can help you with. If you're an expert in these fields, well, I don't need to tell you why they're important. If you're not an expert, then come and see me.